To understand, first we discussed women in power in academia. Now we will discuss the same theme, the same topic, women in power, but in art. And by art we mean film and other creative activities, etc. To understand this topic, we will talk about a movie, Oleana. It shows a character, Professor John, and a female character, that is Carol. Carol comes to the office of the professor and she asks the professor about some problem which she faced during the lecture of that professor. John, the professor, helps her but uses the same jargon that he used in the class and that she couldn't understand. She cannot openly explain her problem, nor does the teacher go beyond academic vocabulary. The problem remains the same, remains at the same place. At the end of Act 2 of this movie, Carol is articulate. In first act, she was unable to talk openly, but now she is confident and she is articulate and vocal, but the professor loses this power of being confident and vocal. Everything is opposite now. It is said that this power, the reviewer, the critics of this movie, they later interpreted that why this happened. They say that it was because of the feminist support that made Carol so much confident. By the end of Act 3 of this movie, Carol gains confidence to speak openly. The word that her professor was avoiding in the lecture. The professor was discussing some issue relating to women, but he was avoiding a particular term for that issue because that term was referring to feminists. She tells him that what I asked for was harassment, and you harassed me. Because when she came to her office, we see in the movie that professor himself commits harassment. In the last scene, what happens? When she found the word for that issue, what is the consequence? The professor, with a sense of losing power because he is no more confident to talk, he loses his power to talk. So he is aggressive and brutally beats Carol. Violence pe aa gaya. Now see the reaction of the audience. The audience shout, serves the bitch right. Changa kita, idda hi hona chahiye. This is its meaning. Now audience, remember this word is plural and singular. It depends on the use, and it is also used for both listener and reader. In English, we have certain nouns which are used like this. In some module, I use the word here in plural sense and I use plural verb with it. So actually, such words, such nouns, whether they are plural or singular, we know it from their use, how we use them. There is no particular principle except this. Okay. we move, because I have used shout after audience. So this is plural form of the verb, so it may confuse you. The male audience shout, the whole audience, I mean, that you did well. She deserved this beating, this bashing. The power game is played through interpretations of Pollyanna at various levels. It doesn't end here. What happened after the movie? See how people at different levels interpreted this movie. There were 3 levels of interpretation between Carol and John, how these 2 persons interpreted it, between feminist and the university, and number 3, among audience groups. Some of them were feminists, some of them were non-feminists, and actually this shouting was from non-feminists, and they were in favor of patriarchy and male power. Okay, but when the male restores his power, he comes to violence, they praise that person. Okay, these interpretations were taken real by the commentators of the movie and by the audience and the readers of the reviews of the movie. So they take it real. So this is how we exploit art, we exploit movies and films to promote this idea of male power, and it clearly shows how much power women have in certain societies. We conclude that the work of art is also used for political purposes. Film is used to promote feminist discourse of harassment and to challenge male power. Pollyanna, if you want to see whatever we have discussed in this particular module, so I would suggest that you see this movie on YouTube.